Once a month in our church, we have, instead of a sermon from the pulpit, we have a Chancel drama. And Howard Lipson, who is our playwright. Howard, I give it to you. Introduce the play.
The setting for the play is the Royal Star and Garter Home for disabled ex-service men and women in Richmond, England in 2011. And what you will see is that holy meets hero, and they will discover what joins the two and creates really a holy trinity. We present The White Mouse.
I don't get many visitors anymore.
I'm sorry.
Don't be. I've led a full life.
That's why I'm here.
Should I know you?
No, I'm Polly. I flew in from New York City.
On vacation?
No, I came just to visit you.
I'm honored.
I assure you the honor is all mine.
Either way, it's a pleasure to meet you, Polly. Welcome to my humble abode. I can't offer you much more than a chair.
Chair will do nicely. Thank you.
There was a time in my life when I would offer you a sherry in a crystal goblet and a seat on a velvet tufted divan.
I'm aware of that.
And then again, there was a time in my life when I would offer you an opportunity to risk your life for others.
I actually know quite a bit about you.
You read my book?
And saw the movie.
Ugh, that terrible film.
Why was it terrible?
Just a minute. I don't know yet. They turned my story into a romance. It's a story of war and resistance. I told them I was outraged in many unchoice words.
I heard about your salty language.
That's a polite way to describe it.
Well, I am polite to a fault.
Don't beat yourself up. I'm sure you're a wonderful person.
Not a hero like you.
Heroes come in all varieties.
How did you become a hero?
Don't ask me how before you ask me why. I ran away from home when I was 16. First, I became a nurse, but I soon realized the world was bigger than Australia. So with a few pounds in my pocket, I left for New York, where I took a few courses and met some fascinating people that led me to London, with a job as a European correspondent for Hearst newspapers. They sent me to France to report on the rise of Hitler. I saw the Nazis beat Jews on the street. I knew I had to do something more than just write about it.
Don't you believe that words can change the world?
There was no time.
Watching Nazism in real time must have been very scary.
Not scary for me. I was married to a wealthy businessman and had a great job at Hearst. And I could have been content, except we weren't. How could we sip sherry in crystal goblets while people were beaten to death on the street? Europe was on fire. Someone had to put it out. So we left our cozy apartment and never looked back.
No hesitation?
We were too busy to hesitate. We were like firefighters going into a burning building to save those who were trapped inside.
So what did you do?
We joined the resistance in GC. We each did what we could. Henri was as handsome as Clark Gable, and unlike Clark, he spoke several languages, including German. I was quite a beauty then. With a little powder and a little drink in my hand, I'd pass the German postcards, wink, and say, "Do you want to search me?" God, what a flirtatious little pisser I was. This is how I helped thousands of Jews escape across the Pyrenees into Spain.
The Nazis called you the White Mouse.
They were frustrated as hell. I was a slippery devil. The Nazis put a 5 million franc bounty on my head. I was their most notorious outlaw.
If it weren't true, it would be hard to believe.
They never caught me.
But Henri,
He was caught.
I know.
They wanted him to tell them where I was, but of course he wouldn't. So they tortured him and executed him.
You must have been devastated.
I think about him all the time, especially now. I'm 98, almost. I'm alone and have no children. People have forgotten me, but I have no regrets.
But you have so many children around the world.
I suppose.
It's a fact. It's a fact. You saved thousands of people. People who owe you their lives.
So, polite Polly, have you gotten what you came for?
More than I came for.
Now you can go back to New York, satisfied.
Not satisfied, but definitely inspired.
Inspired to do what?
You make me realize there's a time to be polite, and there's a time to act.
Who taught you to be polite?
God.
Well, there are surprises even for a 98-year-old.
Sorry, I wasn't full disclosure.
What have I missed? I was guessing perhaps you might be a reporter, but not a priest.
I'm a priest with a small congregation north of New York City.
Why did you hide your collar from me?
I didn't want to be stereotyped.
You thought that I might temper myself with you?
Maybe.
You're too late. Age has already tempered me.
Really, I didn't know what to expect. I was hoping I'd learn how to be more courageous. We live in such difficult times, and I struggle with my role as a priest. I want to lead my congregation, but not force them into struggles they aren't prepared to take on. But I don't want to soft pedal it either. Jesus says to us that we are all called to ministry. Do you see my dilemma?
You're asking the wrong person. I made my own choice. Henri made his own choice. And our choice was deeply personal, not holy.
But it is holy. You and Henri chose love. That is holy.
I'm delighted if my morning oatmeal isn't lumpy. Now you're calling me holy?
You risked your life to help people escape to freedom and safety. Jesus says there is no greater love than laying down your life for another. The moment you got up off your tufted divan and went out to face danger and death, you were reborn out of flesh by water and spirit.
You must excuse my ignorance of religious symbols.
We are born of flesh.
So far, so good.
In the Bible, Nicodemus comes to Jesus in the synagogue by night. He was a bigwig. He didn't understand this either. He only understood earthly things, like birth from a mother. But Jesus told him of a different birth, a birth by water and spirit with God. It's a holy baptism.
Well, I was only baptized as a baby.
You were baptized again when you behaved so bravely.
Baptism under fire.
Yes, yes, that's what I want. I want to earn my baptism.
You will.
Thank you. Oh, wait, I have a present for you.
The box.
Open it,
I can.
if you can.
Ooh, it's a medal.
You were the most awarded woman in the Second World War, But you never got the Congressional Medal of Freedom from America, so I made a replica for you.
That's very kind of you, but I don't need another medal. I never kept the ones I had. Here, you take it.
But
I insist. You said I inspired you. Go, do it. Do baptism under fire. And share that courage with your congregation. Be like Nicodemus.
what about Nicodemus?
Didn't he proudly say he knew Jesus, even when his disciples denied knowing him?
I thought you didn't know the Bible.
I wasn't full disclosure either. Keep it as a reminder. Fill the shoes of the Medal of Freedom here honoree,
I will, with God's help.
the baptismal covenant.
You're a crafty one. Nancy, can I call you Nancy?
I've been called worse.
Maybe I should call you the White Mouse.
Oh, boy. Well, that's a timely word. And I realize how profoundly it touches me, Howard. You've been listening to me talk. And I realize how in our own community, how many people are taking such action. They're not necessarily people of faith, even though Nancy had a hidden faith, but people taking these courageous steps to act now. And what is our call as a congregation, as people of faith? What will we do? I just want to share two things that happened this week, and that is that one thing we do is keep our doors open, and we also have words outside that tell people who we are. And this past week, 3 women came in, Spanish-speaking, who came in and asked Gray if we knew where they could find an immigration lawyer. And Gray was able to find that information and send them to someone we know in town. And then it was maybe an hour later that a young Hispanic man came in and asked if he could have holy water, if I would bless holy water that he could take. And then he asked if I would pray for him. And he got down on his knees and asked that I would bless and pray for him. And I don't know his story. I just know that we are in the midst of people who are struggling, and I'm grateful that one thing we do is we keep our doors open and we let people know you are welcomed here. And I don't know what place God is going to call us in to be like white mice. You know, maybe we'll be what do you call a whole bunch of mice? Trouble. God, keep us open. God, give us ears to hear God's Spirit, that we would be people so filled with the Spirit of our own baptism that we know how we are to live into that. So thank you, Howard. Thank you, Laura, Jane. Amen.